Hello, and my name's Robbie from Girl Bike Love. In this video, we're going to be discussing the benefits of riding a stationary bike. Let's go. So before we start, let's go back to basics. What is a stationary bike? Well, quite simply, a stationary bike is designed to be ridden indoors and only stay in one single position. They're a fantastic way to get your fitness fix in, and they come with a huge amount of benefits, which we're going to be talking about today. There are many different types of indoor bikes available. You have spin bikes for those indoor spinning sessions, you have upright exercise bikes for those more laid back, relaxed sessions, air bikes, which generate resistance through a fan, recumbent bikes, where you lay down on instead of sit down, and you even have elliptical bikes where you get an upper body workout as well. So the first thing to mention is riding a stationary bike really improves the cardiovascular system. So to keep it simple, this is the process of how the body takes in nutrients such as oxygen, puts it into the blood, and delivers it around the body to the muscles and the vital organs via the heart. So the better your cardiovascular system can be, the less your heart's going to have to beat, and the more efficient you are as a person. On top of that, the same system also removes a lot of the bad byproducts, such as lactic acid, and also on top of that, carbon dioxide. So next we have muscular strength and endurance. So most people assume that when riding a bike, you're only using your lower body and just your leg muscles, when you couldn't be more wrong. In those nasty sprints, you're even using your arms, your shoulders, your chest, your back, and even your core as well. So the more you can ride a bike and use these muscles, the stronger and more efficient they're going to become. And these are really going to help in day-to-day life. Anything from walking to climbing stairs. The stronger your muscles get, the easier things are going to be. So next we have one of my favourite benefits, and that's weight management. So to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. This means the body is using more calories than you're putting in. So if you don't want to eat less, a really good thing you can do is ride inside and burn those calories to make that deficit happen. So riding a bike, it can actually burn between 200 and 900 calories an hour. And that could quite easily be the difference between losing a lot of weight very quickly. So the next benefit to mention is its very low impact. So if you were to go out running where you're hammering on the tarmac, that puts a lot of pressure on the joints such as the hips and the knees. Not only does this give you a longer recovery, but in the long term isn't always the best for the body. Cycling is very different. It's very low impact, it's very smooth. And because of this, you get a shorter recovery, and in the long term, it can be much better for your body. So next we have stress reduction and better moods. So one thing about exercising is it makes you feel good. Not only does it give you more confidence, but it releases endorphins which make you feel really happy. And indoor cycling for me, just half an hour, can put me in such an amazing mood and make me feel so much less stressed. Scientifically proven to do this, and in my opinion, it is one of the biggest benefits. Half an hour on the bike a day can really make such a difference. Another great benefit is muscle toning. So riding a stationary bike not only gets you in that deficit to help you lose body fat, but paired with a really good, rich protein diet, you can also tone those muscles to not only be bigger, but to make yourself look much leaner. So the next amazing benefit is indoor cycling can constantly challenge you. So indoor bikes are designed to work with complete beginners who have never really ridden before to professional cyclists. So you're always going to have enough resistance there to give yourself a great workout. You can always put yourself into those situations where your heart rate's getting high and you're really having to push yourself to the next level. It can be done anywhere. So riding a stationary bike doesn't just have to be at home in your spare room. There's many different options. You can go online and do interactive classes, or you can go to your local spin studio and get in a big group of people and really embrace the community of what it's like to ride a bike indoors. So it's always worth mixing it up and trying new things. And with indoor bikes, you can really do that because there are many options to go elsewhere and do it with other people, or you can just keep to yourself and do it on your own. And finally, we have variety. So indoor cycling is very different compared to a lot of other forms of exercise in the fact that there's a lot of variables. So for example, when you're running, you have pace and maybe stride, and that's really all you can work with. With indoor cycling, you have cadence, which is how quickly you're turning the pedals. You have lots of different positions from sitting, standing, and aerodynamic. And on top of that, your resistance is always changeable. So when it comes to working out, you've just got so many different options for different types of classes, different challenges you can do, such as interval sessions, and it can really keep you entertained and spice up those workouts to keep you motivated and jumping back on the bike. So how do you get started indoor cycling? So if you've decided that indoor cycling is something you want to try, there's two ways that I highly recommend getting into the sport. So the first one is to go to a spin class. Not only are you going to immerse yourself in a community of other people that do it, but you're going to have an instructor there to run through a session with you and also give you advice on how to set up your bike. Another option is to just order a bike and start by yourself using the great advice on the Girl Bike Love YouTube channel and website. So surprisingly, when a bike gets delivered, they're much easier to build than you might think, and sometimes learning the ropes yourself and taking the time to digest the information could be a much better way. However you get started, indoor cycling is a fantastic way to get your fitness fix, and it's something for many people that just becomes a part of day-to-day life. So how are you going to maximise the results of indoor cycling? So the first thing is to work hard. You need to be dynamic, high heart rates, and really make sure that you're working at different cadences and being really adaptive to different kinds of workout. On top of that, you need to make sure that you rest enough. So a lot of people like to spin or indoor cycle every day. I personally always try and take 2 to 3 rest days each week. And finally, diet and nutrition. Making sure that you're fueled for your workouts and you're getting a really good high protein diet all around them is going to make such a big difference to maximising your results. And before we go, what about some safety tips? So the first thing to mention is always make sure you're wearing the correct clothing. Doesn't have to be cycling gear, but fitness gear will be just as good. On top of that, you're going to want to make sure your bike's set up correctly. So if you're cycling in the wrong position, it's really easy to get injuries. Next, we have environment. Making sure that where you're training is really important. Make sure that there's nothing that can hit the bike, get in the way, or the bike can damage. And finally, the last thing you need to make sure is that you're hydrated and you've had enough food. It's really easy just to want to jump on the bike if you're not hungry, but if you've got no energy for that session, it's going to feel really awful, and it might even make you feel dizzy if you push it too much. So thanks for taking the time to watch our video today. If you've got any top tips and advice for anyone starting indoor cycling, make sure to drop them in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to hit subscribe to the Girl Bike Love YouTube channel. Stay cool.